This is a story of a man, his works, and the true legend that his art and his life has created. The man is renowned artist Hance Lineburger, a regular feature at all art festivals throughout Belgium and all around Europe, with some calling him the biggest thing to come out of Cottage since Targelelli. As we follow our subject through the coming week, we shall gain an insight into the man, the myth, and the legend. This is his story. Hance Lineburger was born on the 11th of May 1985. His father, Gabesh, gave up a promising career in advertising to be a stay-at-home father, and took up alternative horticulture to support the family. His mother went out for cigarettes shortly after his birth, and never came back.
Yes, I suppose a lot of the anguish and frustration in his works came from the literal tearing of Hance from the comforting womb, and then the further metaphysical tear between him and his estranged mother.
At age 12, Hance watched his house get raided and his father arrested. A deeply moving experience which was summed up in his book, I Ate Ice Cream in Cottage Central. Even with only 8 pages, 3 of them just full of hand-rendered pictures of ice cream, it stormed the charts and remained Belgium's bestseller for 3 weeks.
I first read the book cover to cover on a 9-hour train ride from the German-Poland border. It was given to me by my Russian interpretive dance mentor Boris. I just knew then that I had come across the greatest discovery of art in the last decade. However, when I met him, he was nothing like I expected. But how does a mere mortal fathom my deity?
When Mish met Hance, he was 16 and lived in a cupboard in his brother Klaus's dorm room at the University of Ghent. His brother was an engineering student with a passion for rugby and chocolate. Though Klaus never appreciated his brother's abilities, he did appreciate the money that his brother's minor works had generated.
I don't think people truly appreciate the suffering that Hance went through in those early days. Postmodernism was old and faded, with a faint click of keypads and the badgering of reality that hit so hard in 2000, which of course can be summarized in my piece here. I call it Sleeping Giants. It went on to win the Roofleen runner-up prize. We of course know who won first prize. Still, I'm not a jealous man.
The 2000 competition saw a new area of Hance's life open up when he met a boy who was to become his protege. Manny Ginsberg was a German-born Neophallic contemporary major who was permitted to display some works alongside his hero.
Oh, Lineburger, gosh, yes! So there I was, just setting up, and here he comes up to me and he's like, oh, that's so cool, and I'm like, you're Hance Lineburger, I know you, because I create your work, because that's what I do, I'm a curator, until I was inspired, and then I came across the border, and I became an artist, and he was like, your work's like, totally, sort of Neophallic contemporary design, and I'm like, therefore, nowhere as near as involved as he is, but I guess it's still okay, much better than a Burger King sign.
The artistic trio was complete. Lineburger took his talkative contemporary under his wing, his wife took him to heart, and Manny simply loved them both. But it brought up old wounds amongst Hance and Murray.
I was admired. I was his man. Manny, that little turd. He used to curate in my section. But Hance, we shared the German spirit. we were set to take on the whole European conceptual scene. I'm not a jealous man. He made his choice.
Of course the professor was unhappy, but he could not fathom true genius. His claimed shelf would have stifled our many. In our camp he was able to complete himself and grow as a person.
It was now 2003. Gone were fears of technology, and the future was replaced with fears of terrorists and great lacks of oil. The world was changing, but as the revealing of Hance's later works proved, his art wasn't. The show was a failure and led to heavy losses for the group. Their backers grew scared, and following a fire at Misha's Contemporary Interpretive Dance Academy, bankruptcy loomed.
Oh man, yes, heavens cucumbers, we had lost everything. Everything was burnt to beans. Oh, I was so petrified with fear. I was so ready I could just scream. Which of course Michelle was so desperate to capture in her knitting project. And I think she did, but though it may have gone too far when she had burnt that scarf. Oh, I did ask for a scarf, didn't I? Oh, a scarf, jersey. Oh, and then Hans said scarf, and it was settled.
It is now 2005. Hance has been on the road around Europe for over 2 years. He has moved on to movies and is planning to make a ballet musical version of Noah's Ark. He was divorced from Michelle on the 15th December 2004. Michelle initiated the action, saying that he was stifling her creative flow with his lack of new developments.
It was over, but I think the reality is that it was never really there. Mish was his Yoko, but without the love and happy endings.
I just don't want to talk about it anymore. In fact, I don't want to talk about it at all.
Oh, I love them both. Gosh, I am a loss for words.
Hance has endured much in his life. His platted history is contemporary visual art's very own personal account of all that life as an artist has to offer in both terms of victory and defeat. In terms of Belgium, he is the biggest artist the world has ever seen. However, his world debut was badly received by those who did not understand his brand of genius.